Okay, so having seen the macro, I want to dive deeper into a sector that I deal with a lot, especially in the last several years, and that's the IT BPM industry. So in August last year, the IBPAP, or the IT and Business Process Association Philippines, ran an internal study with their members, and this was published around October last year, so about 6 months old already as of this presentation. And the results were actually interesting. It kind of correlates with the macro picture of AI adoption in the Philippines. First is about 11% of BPOs, as far as IBPAP's members, have already fully implemented AI. When you say fully implemented, these are AI systems that are running in production, agentic systems, Gen AI systems. And is 11% high or low? We'll find out in a bit. And according to the study, more than half of the members are already in progress in terms of implementing it. So 11% are implemented, followed by another 56%. The remainder are either planning to implement or don't have any plans. No? So the question is 11 high or low? Depends. Around the same time, the consulting firm Deloitte also ran a survey within their client base, and their global results showed the following. No? So this chart is slightly organized slightly differently, but I want to point your attention to this latter two figures. A combined 4% had already implemented at least 70% into production. So I think this is the most direct comparison to the 11%. So if in the IT-BPM sector, 11% have already said that they're implementing AI, globally it's around 4%. So again, this is interesting. So earlier, LinkedIn said 86% of individuals on LinkedIn in the Philippines were using AI. This report looks at enterprises, 11% of companies, BPOs, compared to 4% of companies in the Deloitte data. So again, by that measure, we're almost three times more likely to have implemented AI as far as the BPOs are concerned. And that's something to be proud of if you think about it. One of the most common questions I get asked in the media is, what about jobs? And in the IBPAP survey, about 8% of the members have already experienced job losses impacted by AI. But at the same time, 13% have reported job gains, and this correlates with a future of work report released by the World Economic Forum about a year ago, and I think there was a recent one this year, that AI will not have just a negative effect on jobs. There will be a positive effect also. So while some jobs will probably go, and we're seeing that now, we're also seeing new jobs get created. And that's actually the key. How do we capture those new jobs generated by AI? Now, the 8 and the 13, as far as I'm concerned, these are just market forces. We're literally just reacting to the developments in the US, for example. 70% of the sector is based on US outsourcing. And that's really outside our control. What we can control, I think, are these yellow boxes. 24% of the members said their roles have changed. So that means AI did not eliminate the jobs. AI changed the jobs. And I think that's very, very likely to happen. And then 26% have said they need reskilling. So while jobs are changing, people need to change also. So if you combine these two, that's 50% of the industry that needs reskilling or upskilling. And I think that's a very, very clear call to action for the education sector. Of course, we have other problems to look at, but AI is certainly an opportunity for us to influence in terms of job creation and skill. Okay, so what do BPOs use AI for? And not surprisingly, it's generative AI related. So natural language processing. So this is chatbots, agentic AI, Gen AI, of course, for content creation, followed by more traditional technologies like RPA. This is robotic process automation, reinforcement learning, and computer vision. At the tail end, you have classical analytics and data science, like supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Now, what I love pointing out here is that the market demand is for these, I would say, less traditional technologies, the new ones. While food for thought, as far as I'm concerned, the curricula being taught in schools is really these classical stuff. So this represents also another call to action for those navigating careers and for schools that we need to urgently update the data and AI curricula across the board. If you're already taking a data or computer science subject, try to look into these newer technologies because this is where the market is looking. And those who are looking at just the classical skills, although they're still important, they're really less in demand. And for those of us looking to teach, we have to urgently adopt all of these new stuff and start teaching our students, these latest technologies. And that's the challenge because many of these technologies are quite new. There's far less people who can teach it. And that's an urgent requirement. If I was sitting in education, or in a school or in the, I guess, the dep ed and the ched, we have to look at this because this is where the market demand is coming from. And this is what will create the new jobs. Okay, of course, it's not all milk and honey, right? There's obviously challenges. And these are the top challenges mentioned by BPOs in terms of adopting AI. Cost is obviously number one. Integration with existing systems, and this requires a lot of really deep IT skills like data engineering, AI engineering, because a lot of systems are quite old, they're legacy, and they will not talk to AI tools. The Some of the more common issues are data privacy, of course, lack of talent, and data quality. And I think these are the needs that require addressing, as we navigate, the adoption of AI moving forward. Now, looking at the operational impact of AI, not surprisingly, BPOs were asked, why are you implementing AI? And everyone's looking at the usual things like productivity improvement, of course, operational efficiency, generating revenue, service quality. What I would emphasize is the tail end of this. I would say these are the emerging concerns: risk management, and of course, job satisfaction. So maybe now everyone's looking at all of these things, but in the near future, in a year or so from now, it's really how we manage the risks of AI and how we make our organizations more humane. Because the more you adopt AI, the more you risk turning organizations into machines. And of course, it's still people that work in these organizations. How do we make sure that the quality of work for them is improved? In many cases, when you do automation from experience, it results in a worse experience for the employees, and we need to address that.